Welcome to the Backpack Pushers podcast, brought to you by the undisputed champion of ultralight quilts, Enlightened Equipment. Lighten your load at enlightenedequipment.com. With me today is a man who needs to pay attention to this episode because his pack is simply too heavy, Ben McAuliffe. How's it going, man?
It's good. I'm taking notes. Don't worry.
Are you?
Yeah, probably
Okay.
not.
Because you want to lighten your load, but you don't want to go stupid light. That's what.
Yeah, it's hard. Like we were on a couple fires this last weekend, and my pack, my web gear that we have to carry with that is our fire shelter and some other things. Mine's like 35 pounds, and I picked up one of our new hires, and his was like 5 pounds, and it just felt weird. Like I don't know, something about having extra weight. I don't know.
Why does he only have 5 pounds and you use 30?
Well, I got like a first aid kit that's pretty extensive. Nozzles,
30-pound first aid kit.
No, it's like probably all the brass I have in it. Hose clamps. If somebody can make ultralight fire nozzles, that would help.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Be great.
So
okay. Not sure that's where we're going with this one, but
yeah.
What's your definition of stupid light?
Oh, that's just like not caring about stuff, right? Like wearing one socket and blisters, not bringing toothpaste or toothbrushes, right? Because you want to do it.
Yeah, like shaving weight to the point where it's like your
dangerous
functionality is, it's like dangerous. Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a dangerous situation because of your pack?
Because of like not bringing something?
Yeah.
See, the way that I do it is I feel like I take calculated risks, and
right.
I feel like with all my experience, my calculated risks are appropriate. I think that our guest, Jeff Pelletier, would like adamantly disagree.
Yeah.
And he's very experienced too. So I respect his opinion. So we'll get to that, but it's always worked out for me.
I'm just laughing because like I said calculated risk. That's what everyone said when the Titanic sunk and, like any catastrophe happened, they're always
calculated
like,
risk.
It's a calculated.
But then if you look at some of the folks we've gone with in the past, it's like, well, they're not even taking calculated risk. They're just like straight up forgetting stuff. So they're going lighter weight out of accident. And then they truly are putting themselves at risk where I'm like, well, at least I know what's in my pack for the most part.
Well, and I think that's what it is like, when you get to a point where you're like, yeah, this is done. We need to just stop,
Right.
So yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see. I'm definitely run some of the ideas by Jeff, and I'm sure he'll have a response. So, all right, what's our Bible verse for the episode?
Bible verse comes from 2 Timothy 4:7. I have fought the good fight. I've finished the race. I've kept the faith. So I know we're talking about a different race here, but have you ever not finished a race?
Not
or a trip? Or a trip, yeah.
Or a trip. Sure. Yeah, for sure. Like early days, honestly, like pre-Derek, we had a crew of backpackers. We were constantly cycling in new people, and we had people that would quit very easily.
Yeah.
And because we were poor and we were always sharing rides, we didn't really have a solution to like one guy quits. What do we do? So we kind of all had to quit. So that
everybody
quit. And it was like, it wasn't even trips where it was like crazy hard. It might have just been tough conditions, like, more snow than we thought or more rain. But yeah, and then like in the adventure racing scene, like your whole team has to make it, and we always end up with like one teammate who is just like always wanting to bail. So just get stuck.
Frustrating.
Yeah,
I think a couple on the trail where we just couldn't we didn't understand the maps or something. We had to turn around because the elevation was a little tricky, or the route just disappeared in front of us, so we made the safe choice. But I think it's easier when you got people that are like-minded in those situations. Because I think, if I think of the world's toughest race, I think a lot of our listeners have watched that with Bear Grylls. And I think of the one team that had were they twin daughters? And the dad was like a big adventure race guy and was like they were doing well, and then once the girls started just talking like, I don't know, I'm kind of done, she's like, yeah, I'm kind of done too. They basically just talked themselves out of it. And I think that's a big pitfall to having some people in your group is, once that starts happening, everybody starts thinking like, yeah, I can't do it either. So
I pay very close attention to group morale. So if you're struggling and you kind of pull somebody aside, you're like, hey, just, I'm struggling, I need help. That's one thing. But if you're just like, this trip's ridiculous, this trip's too hard, like, why are we even out here? And they're kind of bringing the whole group down.
Yeah.
Like, that's the person who you don't want ever with you. Like, because if you correct them, they've already planted that evil seed in the minds of the rest of your group. And so you just can't come back from that. Right. You never want that person, anybody who's like that at all. So
what would be better is when we have a trip together, you or me should just say that and see what the group does.
Just like fake morale.
just fake morale. Just
the problem is
this sucks.
some people will like, whether you're trying to or not, like they'll be like, actually, I know he was just joking around, but like I am kind of like really fatigued, and there's an easy way out right now. Why not just go down that little trail?
Well, I think of it as, and I'm sure you've done, where you kind of push yourself, right? Like you do a race, or you're doing something, you push yourself, and the minute you stop, you realize how tired, or like the elevation gain, like you're huffing, you're like, I wasn't, and I think that can play into it too, where all of a sudden, like you say something, and they're like, yeah, all of a sudden I'm tired.
No, it's a mind game. I heard a story that like, I think it was Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was very prideful with his looks and his muscles. Like even when he was, top of his game, if he went into a gym to work out and people were like sizing him up, if he thought somebody was stronger than him, he would just go right up to that person and be like, you know what? You're looking really tired today. Are you okay to lift? And then they wouldn't do as well. They wouldn't perform as well. So
yeah, we would do that when we played broom ball for church league.
Yeah,
we'd go up to our other church members and be like, are you feeling okay today?
Right. Kind of funny.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll hear what Jeff has to say. Jeff Pelletier, for those of you who don't know, this guy just does adventures all over the world. He does fast packing, he does a lot of racing. So we're gonna have some different type of content with what he's sharing and different experiences than what we normally discuss in the podcast. It'll be a lot of fun. He's very knowledgeable and just a super fun person to talk to. So here we go, Jeff Pelletier. With us today is an extreme endurance athlete who fast packs, trail runs, and makes films all at the same time. Jeff Pelletier, how's it going today, my friend?
I'm doing well, thank you. Good to be back.
Yeah. Like I said, it's an honor and pleasure to have you on the show. So your videos and films, like when we watch them, like they just display scenery, the trail, the people you're with. Like, what are we not seeing? What's like the oddest encounter or experience you've had on the trail that you just haven't been able to capture on film?
I think the part that I'm not showing, which is the least interesting part, is just like me falling asleep while I'm running sometimes, or walking on the trail. And I mean, that's the thing, especially with these multi-day, like these 200+ mile races where you're operating on like an hour every 24 hours at best of sleep.
Right.
And like that's the hardest part, is the sleep deprivation. Honestly, if it wasn't for that, if there was a pill, because caffeine is not it. Caffeine only does so much.
Right.
If there was a pill I could take, I would do it. Maybe maybe there is one, actually. Maybe there's
illegal.
Actually,
no, I was gonna say
I should say a race legal pill.
Right.
Because man, sometimes I'm just so out of it. And then so what I'll sometimes do is I'll start singing to myself. And when I'm so tired, like what do I sing? It's like,
go ahead.
I don't know.
Go ahead right now.
Hits from the 80s or 90s, right? And just like it's like that, it'll be like an earworm, from like the radio, that I'll just sing over and over and over again, because I'm just trying to do like anything I can do to keep myself awake.
Right.
So that's one thing you're not seeing. It's just, and it would be boring, but at the same time, I've often thought like maybe I should have like a mic going for like 10 hours at a time and just pull audio from it. Like I'm yelling at myself, I'm slapping myself, trying to stay awake.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, do you hallucinate too while you're out there?
Oh yeah. Hallucinations. They're not always the most exciting hallucinations. They're usually like, you think you see an aid station up ahead.
Yeah.
It turns out to be a rock. Yeah. Oh, that's like a tarp. Oh no, it's just a rock.
Yeah.
But sometimes I see like shapes and patterns. And so like your vision gets so blurry that you start to see swirls. A lot of people say this, and sometimes the swirls look like happy faces. And I've had other people mention that they share this hallucination where everything looks like little happy faces in the dirt. And like, it's not a scary hallucination. It's just like, those kind of look like faces everywhere. Yeah. But last time, for some reason, when I was running the Moab 240, it's a couple of years back now, I was seeing logos. And they were like corporate logos, like the Nike swoosh. And like, so I'm telling my buddy Tayson, I'm like, I'm seeing these corporate logos everywhere. Like this is,
that is awesome.
These companies are living rent free in my head here somehow.
Back in my adventure racing days, like when we were doing like 24, 48 hours or more, we'd be in the middle of sneaking nowhere. And I thought I would see towns. I'm like, we're getting somewhere, guys. There's a town coming up right there. And we could be like 50 miles from a town, like nothing even remotely close to that. But I just thought, I don't know. random
I
lights.
get auditory hallucinations as well. I hear voices, and usually it's like I think I hear volunteers, or I think I hear an aid station, or I think I hear other runners, and it's who knows what it is, birds or nothing, just hallucinations.
Yeah. Yeah. So that brings to the next question, where like everything seems perfectly planned out, like going good, but has anything or anyone thrown a wrench into your plans?
Like a serious wrench, like they just jacked up your plans.
This last race I did the Badwater 135, and I had a pretty ambitious goal, and in hindsight, it was maybe a little too ambitious for my first Badwater. They talk a lot about your debut at Badwater because it's the kind of race people go back to because it's so hard to nail it. It's
and real quick, just to interrupt, just for those who don't know, the Badwater is you're running from Death Valley to kind of the base of Mount Whitney. In the middle of July, it's usually somewhere like between 140 and 150 degrees outside, and like your shoes are melting on the pavement, correct?
Yeah, I mean, that last part is, I think, a bit of a myth, but it can, I guess, so yeah, you're running from Badwater Basin up to Whitney Portal. And so quite a bit of climbing. It's all pavement, 135 miles. Hottest place in the world, hottest time of the year. This year we had like moderate temperatures. They were like, it could be a lot worse. And it was 120 degrees Fahrenheit, like close to 50 degrees Celsius.
Oh, gosh.
So, and I live in Canada. So, I did some heat training as well as I could. But I had these ambitious goals. And again, in hindsight, maybe a little too ambitious, still finished. Like I had a good race. I had a great crew. But I think that we started kind of falling behind, and that started kind of like I was overthinking it, and we were all it was like panicking because I wasn't hitting my goals, and we were running out of ice and water. We didn't have enough food. Our whole plan kind of just started to fall apart. And I think a lesson for me was like, I got to have that B and C plan and sort of be like, oh, that's okay. We're moving on to plan C. We've thought this through, and I tend to be overly optimistic.
Yeah.
But you're running out of food. So you're like, I'm actually hungry right now. I need fuel for the run right now. And you have to ration it, or you're running out.
Well, part of it was like in the middle of the night, there's only so many stores that are open. So you kind of got to have this plan of like, where are you going to buy your ice? I mean, you're in the middle of nowhere. There's a store every sort of 50 miles. Right. And the other thing was that I planned on basically just doing run food, which would mean like powdered drink mixes, gels. I knew I wouldn't be able to chew and eat like bars or anything super solid in that kind
Not
of
even
heat.
Snickers?
Not even Snickers. I mean, Snickers would melt, right? That's usually my go-to.
That's true. That's a good point.
We probably talked about that last time, actually. And so I was just like, I was getting to a point though, where after, here I wasn't done at 24, 25 hours, and we're approaching 30 hours, and I ended up finishing in over 32. And I managed to basically drink all my calories for 32 hours.
Wow.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
I just barely got through that. So in hindsight, I should have had a plan for we should have had a lot more solid food and been like, okay, we're looking like 30+ hour pace. We got to switch to a different nutrition strategy. My stomach shrank. I got through it, but my stomach shrank. And it actually took me a couple of days to be able to eat a full meal again. I'd buy a burger and fries. I'd look at it. I'd eat like a third of it. My stomach was not having it. Yeah.
Wow.
We had a company that is like Liquid Calories, basically reach out to us to I don't know, they wanted to send us samples or sponsors or something. And I basically said like, no, get out of here. Nobody wants to do that. That's not very enjoyable. Who wants to drink their calories the whole time? So
I thought you were joking for a minute. I was like,
no, I'm being serious. I told them to get out of here, and they were like pushing back on it.
Lakes butter was going to be our sponsor or something.
No. This is different story. So Jeff, now I get that during like an extreme endurance event, like it's more efficient to do that. But But
it's
surely you have to agree with me that it's not enjoyable to have your calories that way, right?
Not enjoyable. And it's not only that, it's just, so this race, again, it's so hot that I'm having to, and this is part of why I chose to drink my calories. I knew I was going to have to be taking in just a ton of liquid. So I was doing up to 2 liters of water an hour, which,
whoa,
I'm going to say that in gallons, like about a gallon, I think.
Yeah.
No.
One large thing is that one large thing?
It's like 4
soda.
Flasks, 4 flasks an hour. I was trying to get down. Well, I started with 1 liter, and then we went to 1.5 liters, and at one point I was doing up to 2 liters. And then, according to my sweat test that I did recently, I was going to have to match that with 1 gram of electrolytes per liter of water. So I'm doing just tons of liquid because I'm sweating so much.
Right.
And so I'm having to replace all that fluid. And so I figured, well, if I'm drinking all that anyway, I may as well have nutrition getting in with it, because otherwise I'm also trying to eat when it's that hot is hard. And I think the benefit of drinking your calories is it's kind of just like free nutrition. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to chew. And so
no, it's efficient for sure. It's just not
efficient.
enjoyable.
It's efficient, but it's sweet, and that sweetness can really get to you after a while. That sugar.
So if you like, do they have a lot of people watching you run it the whole time? So if you collapsed or something, like they'd find you.
So so the thing that's unique about the Badwater 135 is there are no aid stations. So you have to have your own crew with you, and you're with you the whole time, basically just leapfrogging 2-3 miles at a time and handing you nutrition. So my crew would just hand me a bottle or two. I'd chug one, I'd take one for the road and just head out. And they were tracking exactly. I had targets for how many grams of carbs I wanted. And I didn't want to exceed 80 or 90 grams an hour. Bit of protein with that. I was using a product called NAC, Ultra Energy Drink Mix, has a bit of protein, electrolytes. We're tracking exactly how much water I'm taking in on a spreadsheet and trying to match the sodium, like I said, about 1 gram per liter. And I had a doctor with me, a buddy of mine that I went to high school with, who's a doctor. We're doing vitals. He's weighing me every 8 hours to check how much weight, how much I'm sweating, how much I'm losing. He had pee strips that I was peeing onto to check my rhabdo levels, basically, and check how much blood I had in my urine. And spoiler,
do you buy pee strips on Amazon, or where do you get these things?
He's a doctor. I don't know. He brought them. So we're doing we're doing all these tests. He's taking your blood pressure. Like, it's cool. We have a lot of data. I was wearing a sensor from a company called Core. It's a body temperature sensor. Plus I had an ambient temperature sensor, a little foot pod from Coros on my foot. Plus I had a heart rate monitor. So we've got a ton of data. It's going to be really cool.
Is this more like a science experiment or like a race?
I was kind of looking at it as a science experiment, but also one of the reasons I wanted to do this race was I really wanted to master the heat training and the heat sort of like dealing with the heat, like the heat management.
Yeah.
And this race, it's not a hard race if it weren't for the heat. Right. There's no navigation, your crew's with you. So this was our opportunity to just like treat it like a science experiment, apply all the science we could to it. And we kind of did that. So I came out of this with a ton of data and so much more experience. No other race will ever be as hot. And I'm going to be able to just nail like ice, water, all the heat management sort of protocols. And I'm making a film about it. And it's going to show all that basically.
Wow, cool. So that leads a good question. Sounds like you're an expert on heat. What's better, dry heat or the humid heat?
Easy, dry heat.
Okay.
Any day, all day, any day, man.
Right.
Humidity kills me. And the problem with humidity is that, like sweating is how your body cools itself down, right? But it's not actually the sweating, it's the evaporation that pulls that heat off of you. So when the sweat isn't evaporating, you're sweating and you're not getting the cooling. So it's the worst of both worlds, because now you're getting dehydrated. So you have to be taking in the fluids, but you're not cooling down. And so it's the worst of both worlds. Dry heat any day. But you got to be careful, because in a dry heat, like Badwater, the first few hours we had to recalibrate after 3 or 4 hours, because I was telling my crew, like, guys, I'm getting really thirsty, but I'm not sweaty. And yet when they dump water over me, I could taste all the salt dripping off my forehead. So I realized the sweat was evaporating.
Crust.
The sweat was evaporating as fast as it was coming off of me. So you don't even know you're sweating when it's that hot.
Do you identify more with Rocky or Drago based on your description that you just gave with like all the sciencey stuff? He's thinking about it. You want to say Rocky, but what you're describing is Drago. Is that the issue?
I don't know. I don't know.
He's Canadian, Carl. He doesn't get the Rocky references.
I don't get it.
You not watch Rocky?
He's Canadian.
Like the movie Rocky.
Rocky 4, where he defeats the entire country of Russia.
Right.
No, he wins them. He doesn't defeat the country.
He ended communism in Russia with that movie.
Yeah. That's right. I forgot about that.
Sorry. That's off track. All right, let's get to the main point. I think that in our first couple of questions, I think you've already justified your authority here on your ability to talk about decision making with, basically how to travel efficiently through tough environments and make good decisions. And so last time we had you on, I threw a ton of ideas at you. I was like, I want to go ultralight. I don't know if I can actually make this trip. I don't know if my body's going to hold up. So I'm looking to kind of cut corners and take risks, right? Take calculated risks. And so I ran all ideas by you. I don't think you liked a single one of my ideas, and you called some of them stupid light, which is what the inspiration for this episode is. So, So anyway, from your experiences or what you've heard or seen other people doing, whether they're in races or whether they're in your fast packing or your backcountry experiences, like, do you have 3 or 4 examples of people that are just doing what I was describing, cutting corners, going stupid light?
Yeah, I mean, the best example, this happens all the time. I live here in Vancouver, BC, right near the mountains. We get a ton of tourists coming from places probably like the Alps, Germany, say, where there's always a refuge at the top and a gondola that can take you back down. We don't have any of that. It's you and the bears for, hundreds of miles. So, and it's pretty rugged terrain, right? So I've worked with search and rescue here on some education, and I know a lot of guys who volunteer on the teams. And the number one reason people have to get rescued is lack of light. The hike or the run takes them a little bit longer than they thought, and they didn't bring a headlamp. And they literally have to get rescued. Just a couple days ago, a few people had to get rescued because they didn't have a headlamp, and they took a wrong turn, right? Like you think, oh, we'll be back by 4. It doesn't get dark till 8. Carrying a headlamp, what is that? You can, on a small emergency one, 40 grams of weight. I mean, that's the easiest thing. So in my opinion, going out without a headlamp when you're in the backcountry and you're in the mountains, even if you're just going out in the afternoon, you think you'll be done. Even in the morning, sometimes I'll take one if I'm going out for a longer, where I might be out there. Yeah. In my opinion, that's the number one thing. And it's stupid not to go out with a headlamp.
Okay. Well, I like where this is going already because I just got back from a 10-day backpacking trip where, again, I was basically doing the same thing, trying to cut corners, and I did not bring a headlamp. Yeah. I brought... I was with other guys, so it wasn't as if I was like by myself alone in the backcountry. And I think that they had headlamps, but
well, you're not alone until you are, right? Until you go, hey, I'll catch up. I got to take a leak, and then it turns out they took one turn, you take another, and people get split up, right?
No, that's a good point. No, I like it. I like it. You're already calling me out on what I'm doing here.
That happened to us. We were out and we all brought headlamps, but ours were rechargeable. And we didn't have the spare batteries with it. So for me, that was a good learning experience that, rechargeable is nice because you don't have to carry the batteries until, you're wearing it for 6 hours and you needed it for 12. So that's something we learned is the spare batteries, even though it adds weight, is very helpful too.
Totally. So along with that rule of thumb of always carry a headlamp, it's actually always carry like N+1. So if you don't think you need a headlamp, you carry one in case. If you are going to use one, you carry a spare battery. So you always have that extra. Or even a spare headlamp. Some races make you carry a spare headlamp because you get mechanical failure.
Yeah.
So
So Carl,
I got away with it, by the way, not trying to brag, but I got away
That's
with
what I was going to ask you, Carl. I was like, because on your trip, there's guys that brought it, but you guys weren't planning on hiking into the night, right?
No, and so my phone was my emergency because you have the light on your phone. We had battery for the phone, so we could charge that. But
well, if your phone is your light, then when that dies, you don't have a way to call for help if you need to. And that's where you want to keep your phone as what it's actually for, which is a communications device and for navigation.
Yeah.
So longer
story. We'll circle back on that because we haven't done the episode on that trip, but I like where you're going with it already. So headlamp, not ditching the headlamp, bad idea. Okay. What's your next one?
I mean, that's the main one. Honestly, you can get away with a lot as long as you have light. I think communication, though, is another one. So again, it depends where you are. Some places, if you're in the Alps, there's cell service quite often. Here in North America, maybe not, right? If you're in the San Juan Mountains or here in BC. Right. So I think having communication and ideally satellite communication. So ideally it's an inReach. The new phones are great. Like the new iPhones have the satellite messaging, which is a good backup, but I still think like a little inReach Mini is a great investment. I don't always carry it, but I do always carry it if I know I'm going somewhere, big adventure where I might, especially if I'm alone, you're not with a group where everybody can run out. Right. I don't think everybody in a group needs one necessarily, but it's nice to have one in a group.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Well, I'll tell you a couple of the ones that I ran by you last time, and I'll tell you kind of what I ended up doing. So I said, we're going high elevation most of the time. I want to ditch the water filter and just dip in. I think that was the one you had the strongest reaction to. And you're like, just use the Solomon, is it like the XA Pro? Is that what it is?
Filter cap, similar to the Katadyn B Free.
Yeah, but it's like lighter weight. I don't think it doesn't go quite down to the same micron level, but it's faster filter as a result. That's
slightly faster. Yeah. Yeah. They're both good for like Giardia though, and protozoa bacteria.
Right.
Yeah.
So I got that exact one. And just so you know, like the last couple of years, those things are hard to find. Like a lot of companies will say they have them and then they're out of stock. Those things are going
sell out. Totally.
Yeah. Hotcakes.
Yeah.
So that was a really good suggestion I took. One that I ran by you that you didn't like was because we were going to the Sierras. I said that the weather is really stable in the Sierras, and if the weather looks good, I don't want to stink and carry a rain jacket because that's, that could be, depending upon which jacket you're bringing, that could be 10 ounces or whatever that I don't want to have in my backpack. And it's bulky too. It kind of gets in the way of the other stuff in your pack, your running pack. And you're like, you have to carry that. So I actually didn't carry the rain jacket because it was supposed to be sunny the whole day. And I got a little chilly towards the end, but I actually got away with that one. So that was one.
Well, if I can, I wonder, did I say you need a rain jacket? Because I think my view on that is like, I sometimes don't carry a rain jacket, but why I like a rain jacket is that even if it's not raining, it is a warm layer.
Right.
And it's just easy. And then if it does rain, freak storm, you got it. And even if not, especially in the summer, you might not need a puffy or whatever. So kind of a rain jacket kind of does it all. It's just like a nice backup, you get caught out there, whatever, colder weather. You're waiting for your buddies at the end at the trailhead and you start to get cold, you throw on your hard shell. So yes, it's a little bit bulkier, but I don't know. I just find them super, like, I don't really own many soft shells. I kind of just have a bunch of hard shells. They're just so versatile. Yeah, it's easy.
And I ditched the mid layer on my last backpacking trip and just had the rain jacket as kind of like a warmth layer. So kind of like what you were saying. So I agree with you on that one. Yeah. It was more, I think you might have, I think your messaging was probably pretty similar, to be honest, as far as like use it as a layer for warmth. Last one I'll bring up is because we're going all in on this. And again, I wasn't sure I could make it. I wanted to bring road running shoes.
Yeah.
Instead of trail shoes.
Yeah.
And your reasoning for why that was not very wise was because they're just going to get torn up.
Well, what was your reasoning for wanting to do that again?
That they're lighter weight. I train with road running shoes on trails, like when I go for trail runs.
Right.
And they hold up for similarly as long as if they are on the road. And just like the lighter, the less weight on your foot, the more efficient you're going to be traveling. That was the thought process.
Yeah. I mean, it's worn weight though. It's not carrying weight, and it's such a marginal difference. I mean, my trail running shoes that I wear are often lighter than a lot of road running shoes. It depends on how much mid stack you have.
Yeah, I haven't found ones that, because you wear Solomon's, right?
I was wearing Solomon exclusively. I'm trying some other brands lately as well.
Okay.
But I like a more lightweight shoe. I mean, to me, that just seems, to be honest, I've never heard that. I know a lot of trail runners, and I've never seen anybody wear road shoes simply because they're lighter. People will wear road shoes in races where, well, being honest,
welcome to my world.
I know he's being polite. He's not calling
because they're just not durable. Like they're gonna get torn up. A root catches them, and the upper, they're just not made for trails for those conditions. They'll get torn up, and then all of a sudden the reason why your
description was actually, or your suggestion was wise, and I didn't take it, was because that was the same year where, I don't know if you guys got it, but it was they had all those storms in California that were just like dumping snow. So we didn't go till August, but by August there was still feet of snow on the high passes, and we had to cross a high pass. And so we were climbing up on snow on the south side and then glissading down on the north side. And I was like, this is not a very smart thing. So anyway, so your suggestion was wise.
I should clarify what I said too. People will wear road shoes. Sometimes they'll change into them for certain sections of a trail race. Really fast runners will, because they are faster to run in. Like you can get better turnover. But we're talking about like California carpet, like the kind of trails that are buffed out. You might see people doing that in Western states, parts of the course, but not when you're sort of like adventuring in the mountains. I think most trail runners, again, keep it simple. And it sounds though like what you're saying is you're training in your road shoes, but maybe that's where you want to think about training in the shoes you're going to use on the day. So maybe training
which
more.
Is what I did. It's just that if I had to do it over again, I would have reevaluated that one. So anyway, you had really good advice overall. It was really, really smart. And getting back to that Solomon XA filter. So one of the videos you put out in the last few months or so, you were in the Dolomites, and you were having some fun with it, but like it was like raining, and you were stopped, and you got water that was pouring off of a roof, and you filtered roof water.
Mm.
So I don't like.
What's the question?
Is there a question?
Well, first of all, I want to make sure I have the story correct. Do you recommend doing this?
Well, yeah. I mean, you can, like, you can filter, like, it's bacteria, protozoa. It just doesn't filter viruses. You need a carbon-based filter for that, or like a UV filter. The Dolomites are mostly limestone and dolostone, which is like similar to limestone. So they're very porous. So there's not a lot of water. And so I was getting the water, it was filtering off of like the roof of a refuge we were at. And it was basically like there's no water anywhere else. So yeah, that was water there was like €6 for a bottle. So I will filter roof water instead
I'm
of
just
paying
thinking of
€6
like bird poop on the top, and the water's pouring over the bird poop.
What do you think
filter that.
But it's running water, right? You're it's good because it's like a stream. It's running.
I mean, look, there's streams. You're getting animals curling up and dying in streams all the time.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, that's what
I don't want to think about that. I want to think.
Okay. Birds poop on the water too, Carl.
You know, the one
and
thing I
fish
would say is those filters, like the XA filter and the Be Free, they don't filter out taste. So keep that in mind.
Oh,
right.
So what was the taste of the?
It was fine.
Water?
It was fine. But sometimes certain water can taste like you can taste like basically that's chemically, or like you got to be careful. It doesn't filter out as well. It doesn't filter out hard metals, chemicals. So you got to be really careful around like industry mining, like old mining sites. You got to be really careful.
Right. We also ran into on our last trip where it was like they had like an invasive fish species, and so they decided to poison the entire lake to just start over and to like reintroduce the native fish. But in the meantime, whatever chemical they were using to poison the lake, it was like that water was coming out of the lake into a stream, and we were like, let's not filter out of that stream.
There's also there's I think at least one stream in the Grand Canyon that's radioactive from like decades ago. So anyway, the Hard Rock 100 course is known for that as well. There's a few spots you don't want to filter in Colorado. I should just say in Colorado in general. Basically, when you're around mining, you do want to be careful as well.
Okay, that's a fair point.
So just don't drink water in Colorado.
Well, closer to the source, the better. Closer to the snow, closer to the glaciers.
Right.
Yeah. Interesting. So as you get older, a lot of us are, putting a lot of miles with some weight on your back day after day has got to be tough and require some good recovery. What are some tips for that to help you recover?
Oh, sleep. Sleep is the number one thing. I mean, that's the main thing. Eating, you got to eat, you got to eat to fuel, but you also on these big runs and, whether you're training or doing a race or an adventure, the calories you're taking in, they don't just help with that day, they help with the next day, like with the recovery. So the recovery process starts early. And along with that, it's protein, making sure you get lots of protein. I think most athletes don't get enough protein. A lot of athletes don't get enough iron. A lot of athletes are iron deficient, and that shows up as low ferritin. In my case, that I've been having to supplement my iron for a few years. Some people have too much. It can be dangerous as well. So you do want to talk to your doctor and get tested. Don't just start taking a bunch of iron, but protein, iron, especially as an aging athlete, rest, and then some strength training, putting in a little bit of preventative kind of work, a couple days a week in the gym can go a long way.
Okay. Do you get more iron when you do filter out of mining sites?
Probably. That's heavy metals. Yeah.
What do you use for a sleeping pad? Do you even use a sleeping pad?
I mean, it depends. Like I have a couple, I should say one thing along with that is I always bring like a pillow. That's like a luxury item is a blow up pillow. Cause it helps me sleep so much. I'll carry that extra weight if it helps me sleep and recover, especially for a multi-day race.
Okay.
That's good advice.
We did an episode a few months back. It was like the first 5 things you must do when you get to camp. And we had kind of a disagreement about what number 1 was. So my argument was number 1 is before you do anything, you want to rehydrate. You want to get your electrolytes in and drink. And then my buddy said, my other co-host, Derek, said stretch. Which one would you think is better?
I don't really stretch much.
Okay. All right, there you go.
Sick brag.
Maybe I should. I don't know if the benefits are really proven around stretching. I mean, I think warming up is the next morning is important. Doing some active stuff, some drills. I think that's more important than stretching. I like to do a little protein shake, especially whether I'm fast packing or doing a multi-day stage race, a little powdered protein shake. That kind of goes along with what you're saying, rehydrating, getting some calories in, getting some protein in right away. Right. Is part of my process. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Interesting.
All right. So new this time, since you were on last time, is we have been doing a lightning round where you've got 1 minute to answer as many questions as you can. And the first question starts after Ben asks the first question, basically. So, all right, Ben, go for it.
Have you ever used a Snickers bar as an energy bar?
Yes.
What's the toughest trail you've ever done?
Ooh. I'll say the Swiss Peaks 360 course, which is basically the oat route.
Nice. Ever ran barefoot?
No.
Favorite trail snack?
I'm gonna go back to Snickers.
Yes.
One word you would use to describe Carl.
Light.
First word.
Yeah, can it be stupid light?
Something better in Canada than the US.
Oh man, iced tea. Am I gonna offend people? They call it sweet iced tea in the US. Here we just call it iced tea.
Yeah. Right. Round toothpicks or square toothpicks?
Round. Are there square toothpicks?
Yeah, there's a difference.
What mythical creature do you wish was real?
Ooh. Can I pass?
Pass. All right.
Uh-huh.
I think you got 7. You came close to the average.
Yeah.
Is that right, Ben?
Yeah. Yep. Because you didn't answer the last one.
All right, Ben, you had some weird questions in there, man. What
weird? They're all good. What
round versus square toothpicks? What is that?
I just remember we had it around a campfire one night. We were talking about toothpicks, and some people were pretty adamant about what toothpicks they like. And I like the round. I think they just clean a little better, but some like the square.
You guys got some awesome campfire chat right there.
Yeah.
Hey guys, let's talk about toothpicks for a little bit. All right. Anything else from what he shared? Any other takeaways?
Oh, it took a while to find the trail that he liked or didn't like.
Well,
the dangerous.
Trails.
I know. So it took a little bit.
But I'm still thinking like, I mean, I've done a lot of tough trails, and I don't know.
Yeah, so this, I think you're referring to the sweet tea, which is like the southern iced tea.
It's actually different. It's actually different. I know, because when I've made the mistake of ordering sweet tea, and it's like iced tea, which is a bunch of sugar in it.
Yeah,
it's like a 50-50 almost. It's like lemonade, right?
Yeah, the stuff we have here is just like pop. Basically, when you order iced tea, it's just like Nestea brand. Like anyway, I like iced tea. I drink a lot of iced tea, and I make the mistake of ordering non-sweet iced tea when I'm in the US, and I have to remember.
Okay,
it's different.
I didn't know that Canada was known for good iced tea, so I'll have to
never
try some next time. Okay.
I thought he was gonna say like grams or something. Didn't Durston say that? Like, what's something better in Canada? He's like grams
over ounces. Yeah. Which is a fair argument, because it makes sense.
It is easier.
What can we look forward to on your YouTube channel? You mentioned you got some trips coming up. Your girlfriend's taking a trip. What's coming out? What adventures
we got a bunch of films coming out still from, actually a couple still from last year, more from this year. The one I'm most excited to share is going to be my film from the Badwater 135. Won't be ready till later this year, but it's going to be awesome. It's going to be different than all my other films. Like I said, it's going to be more taking a kind of look at what's actually happening to my body in those, and we're going to have all this cool animation that a buddy of mine's helping me with. So that one's going to be exciting. That'll be later this year.
And isn't it more of an interesting story now that things didn't go exactly as planned? Like, it makes it kind of like, yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Because sometimes I think the other thing I succeeded in was, I guess, failing, or like at least, you didn't
fail though.
Well, no, but that's just
how do you succeed in failing?
I failed to meet my goal, my A goal, my B goal. And I think that was important for me to realize, like, things don't always go as planned, because I tend to not set ambitious enough goals. So on the one hand, like I said, maybe my goal is too ambitious. On the other hand, maybe I succeeded in not achieving what I set out to do for the first time in a while. So, and I think that's because I did try to, I aimed a little higher, and hey, it didn't work out. Right. And now I kind of know, like, it'll be a different story.
Me, when you share that you finished the Badwater race, which is a crazy race, like, I want to say congratulations, but I'm not sure if that's appropriate if you're like, well, my A and B goals weren't quite.
I'm totally happy with how things went. And I think part of it was less about execution and more just about expectations of how things would go. I don't think we could have done anything differently.
Yeah.
I think my training, I would have had to just move somewhere hot and go, we ended up buying a condo. Like, we bought a pre-sale years ago and it closed. We were moving 2 weeks before the race. We're cleaning out the old place.
Right.
And then we ended up traveling down there just a couple days before the race. So we would have had to approach it completely differently, which originally we had planned to do. We were going to go down like a month early. So I think all things considered, it went pretty well. And I learned a lot, and that's, it definitely wasn't a failure. We succeeded in a lot of ways.
Okay.
So you were trying to be more like Rocky and get to the environment more acclimated.
Yeah, training by moving
Exactly.
stuff around. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, last thing about kind of future videos is anytime you put out an instructional video, like I'm in, like I'll watch it. I think the most recent one you put out was like how to use trekking poles while running. Like I feel like you just dial these videos in very well and you explain things very well. Do you have any of those coming up or anything planned for that?
Yeah, I do. So I actually just rented like a dedicated studio. I have a YouTube studio as of last month. That's all set up to do like more kind of gear-based videos, not so much reviews, more just like tips and like pack out videos. And I want to, you know, it's set up so I can just pop in there, flick on the lights and film.
Right,
so
right.
my goal is to, I want to keep telling stories, big stories, but my goal is to have more stuff dripped out in between.
Okay.
And so definitely there's going to be a lot more of that to come for sure.
Okay,
awesome.
Really glad to hear. Jeff, man, you are the best. Thank you so much. We've got a link for his YouTube channel in our show description. Check his stuff out. Very inspirational. And yeah, just one of our favorite guests, man. Thank you so much for taking the time.
It's always so much fun. Thanks, guys.
All right, my friend. Takeaways.
Well, do you regret asking the Rocky question?
No.
He had no idea. I could tell. Like the stare were like, yeah, okay, yeah. Rocky Drago.
Yeah. Well, okay. I mean, sometimes we say things or we ask questions and it's not necessarily even for the people that we're talking to, but if everybody else gets the reference, I think it's fine, don't you?
I thought it was fun. I thought it was funny.
Anybody else not get the reference of Rocky and Drago?
Well, I mean, that's why I think it's more American, right? I mean, I know Canada probably watches some American movies, but yeah, that's a big. And then, what does Canada think of Russia? Because I mean, they're across the pond over there, right? I think they call it the pond, you know, going through Alaska. But
you're just making up stuff. What do they think of Russia? Because they're close to Russia too. But wait, so are we because we have Alaska.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so
we're closer technically.
Someone's gonna review that and be like, Ben needs to learn his geography. So
yeah, I don't know. That's you could have asked that question. Just next time we have a Canadian, just be like, "Hey, so what do you think of Russia?"
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't regret asking that question. I think movie references are part of our show, and if people don't get the movie references, then too bad. So there you go.
I thought it was good.
Yeah. So he's not afraid to call me out on my ideas and good ideas, bad ideas. More. I think mainly he just had bad ideas, though, right?
Yeah, he had a lot to say about your bad ideas.
Yeah. But then I thought his idea of filtering roof water with the bird poop, I didn't think that was a good idea.
He never said there's bird poop. You just assumed.
Like on the roof in the mountains, they're guaranteed there's bird poop. Are you serious?
No, they're above the birds, right? Like birds don't fly that high.
Yes, they do.
I don't know.
Yes, they do. I guarantee there's bird poop on the top of that roof. Yeah. So
what if we talked about getting the filters clogged with like, you know, powder substance. What about bird poop? Like that just clogs the filter.
Bird poop is just kind of fun fact for you folks. Maybe don't do the bird poop stuff because it's gonna clog your filter. But so he didn't like my ideas. I felt like I don't know, when his focus is different. I think we have to keep that in mind. So when he's very self-sufficient most of the time. So when you're talking about like not bringing a headlamp, if he doesn't have a headlamp, like he's stuck.
Right.
I don't have a headlamp. I can lean on somebody. It's like they're probably not going to like that very much. But I also have done so many backpacking trips, and I've like evaluated, you know, how often I'm actually using that thing to navigate in the dark, and it's pretty much almost never. So I felt like that was a safe thing, and that was like his number one, like bring a headlamp, and I was like, I think that's like the safest of all of my calculated risks.
Right, but he's probably running. We should have asked him, but he's probably running well into the night to get the miles on to beat the time. Or
he literally said, I go for runs in the morning and bring a headlamp, like just in case.
Yeah, just in case you get lost, like scenarios. But
yeah,
I don't
if you
know.
get lost backpacking and it's nighttime, you just camp. You just like
you should. Yeah.
You get your gear. So anyway.
Interesting. Yeah. And then it was his sleep for recovery and eating, I thought was good. Like sleep was good. You know, I think that was a big point for him was getting good rest,
which is one of the hardest things to do, obviously, when you're backpacking.
Do you bring a pillow? Like he said that was a luxury.
Everybody brings a pillow. Everybody brings a pillow. Yeah. I shouldn't say everybody. Most people bring a pillow.
I forgot a pillow once, and it was miserable trying to use your pack with clothes and all that.
Right.
And so I felt really bad that I left it in the truck.
I'll change what I said. Rational people bring pillows.
Yeah.
It's stupid light if you don't bring a pillow on purpose.
Right.
There's like some cheap ones out there too, so I think you can get by with them. But again, thanks to Jeff for coming on the show. Always a pleasure. Always learn something, and hope to have him on again for sure. So All right, I've got, let's see, tidbits. I don't have anything. All I got is, we're still looking for reviews, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. If you could give us 5 stars, we'll read them on the show and send something your way. So
sweet.
So please send them our way.
Yeah.
That's all for me. You got anything else?
No, just remember, if you're not bringing weight on the trail, you're not bringing anything.
Okay. Have a great weekend. God bless everybody.